also, this offensive line is certainly a question mark. I honestly think that that's the bigger issue coming out of spring for me than the quarterback situation, based on what we just said with the track record and the guys recruited. If you don't have two tackles that can play at a high level, you mentioned the start of the season. Yes, they don't have a game that they won't be big favorites in until that Notre Dame game, but they do have to open week 1 at Indiana, which is a Big Ten opponent. If you have two tackles that aren't ready to go and a quarterback who's starting for the first or second time, I guess, if it's Kyle McCord, that could be problematic against another Big Ten defense that is going to look to get after you a little bit. So Josh Fryer, I think, will be the left tackle. I think he certainly has more experience than anyone else on the team. The right tackle position, I think, is very much still up in the air between Zen Mikowski and Tegra Shabola. There were good plays by all three of them in the game, but again, you're going against really good competition in the defensive ends of JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer. And I would say more often than not, throughout all of spring practice, the defensive ends won those battles. Again, like I said before, when you're trying to judge that, you're happy to see, as an Ohio State fan, that the defensive ends are playing at a high level. Not so happy that they're not getting blocked by the other side. So that's got to be cleaned up. Maybe the transfer portal is an answer to find a tackle. We'll see what Ohio State likes to do. I know they will be watching to see who enters the portal. But to me, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest area of development that needs to happen throughout this summer, fall camp. Like I said, I think the quarterbacks will be fine. And I do think Justin Fry, the offensive line coach, is a very good developer. But you're doing it in a smaller window than you probably would have liked, given that both Paris Johnson and DeJuan Jones are probably going to hear their names announced in the NFL draft later this month.
Pat, usually when I hear sack statistics from any of these games, they're inflated for obvious reasons. So take that number right there. I don't even know what it was for the Ohio State spring game. I'm talking about any spring game. 9 out of 10 of them, I hear these 12 sacks, 14 sacks. Well, let's understand. Again, you get a fingernail on a guy and he's down, as opposed to what live action is all about. So in evaluating the offensive line, to me, it's more valid to look at the running plays, although there's more concern, I guess, in pass blocking at this point because of the tackle situation. They looked good running the ball, and they basically didn't have two of their top guys, although Mayan Williams was in there at times. And so, the one position on the field outside of the wide receivers on the offense, I just think they're really well stocked at running back. I'm going to be intrigued. I'm not going to be concerned at all about who ends up being the starting running backs, because I think any of them are going to do the job to some strong level, but it's going to be intriguing to see how this plays out because they got a lot of capable guys.
Absolutely. And to what you're saying about sacks, I say had 5 sacks in the spring game for 28 yards, which isn't crazy given they were playing touch football with the quarterbacks. So I guess that's good. And neither JT Tuimoloau or Jack Sawyer, who didn't play much, registered a sack.